travels to the United States, that is code for we want to bomb Iran, and we want to get U.S. support when we do it.
Yep. I mean, no, they need us to back us up. They need us to back them up. If they take Iran on by themselves, Israel will most likely lose.
On. Quote, I'll present the president our positions regarding the principles of the negotiations, the important principles, and in my view, they are important not only for Israel, but for everyone in the world who wants peace and security in the Middle East. So I went ahead. This got quite a bit of likes too, which is hilarious.
Hold on. Like, causing a war with Iran will literally cause a regional conflict in the Middle East. So what you're asking for is the opposite of what you say is going to happen. Like, if you take out Saddam, there'll be positive reverberations throughout the Middle East. That was a lie. So what? Now you're telling us if you take out the Ayatollah, there'll be positive reverberations throughout the Middle East. So most likely be a lie again. Because even Saudi Arabia is saying, there's going to be a regional conflict if you do this.
Translation. I'm going to the United States to sell my war plan to Trump before second round of negotiations. I will also tell Trump that if the Iranians do not disarm their ballistic missile program, stop funding their proxies, and lower uranium enrichment down to 0%, we will attack them with or without the United States and drag the U.S. into a regional war with or without their consent. Reader, you're welcome. And, obviously I posted this as well. I think I posted it here. Let's see. Yeah, 400K. So a lot of people liked it because I basically fucking identified what the fuck was going on here. So what do we got here? Right? We have the Prime Minister of Israel going to the United States for the 7th time. So first, let's talk about official visits and foreign leaders coming to the United States. Foreign leaders come to the United States maybe once or twice a year at most, okay, to go to the White House. Benjamin Netanyahu's 7th visit within a year, pretty much. Well, we're in February. Trump took office in January. So roughly 13 months, 7 visits. That is unprecedented for another world leader. Okay. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu is framing it as, this, goes to, show our great relationship that we have with the United States. No. It goes to show how, in lockstep, the United States and Israel are, and how much influence they have on us. They have an incredible amount of influence on the United States, especially with this administration. Okay? Now, Netanyahu, as a politician, is fantastic at dressing up what's really going on here. Okay? So what is really going on here? So what you guys see here is the Middle East. Okay? Israel, this nice little sliver of land here.
Yep.
Okay? Iran, pretty far away.
Somebody in the chat said that, Israel's a small country. They're not trying to expand. I'm like, bruh, they took part of Jordan. They took part of Syria. That's what the Golan Heights used to be, Syria. And they took part of Jordan. I mean, bruh, what you mean? They've been expanding for a while now. Shit, they're about to take the Palestinian land in the West Bank. They don't care if the world sees it. I mean, that's bold.
This little sliver of land here. Okay? Iran, pretty far away. Okay? Now, why does this matter? Because you guys need to understand where we are in this conflict. And I'm going to speed run and
Galactic, you wrong for that.
Give you guys the cliff notes of how we got here, because how we got here is going to be incredibly important so you can understand where we're going to go from here. Does that make sense? So let's go through this quickly. We're going to start at October 7th, 2023. Hamas invades Israel. Thousands are killed. First they said 2,000, then they revised it down to 1,200. I've had this debate many times, right, with people about the Hannibal Directive, all the shit that happened on October 7th, but that's, for the purpose of today's conversation, that's not what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on Hamas invading Israel, because this was the beginning of everything. I mean, it goes back beyond that, but for purposes of this conversation and understanding this current conflict, we're going to start.
Yeah, because Hamas had 2 reasons. There was, of course, the political reasons of, they feel like their voices can't get heard and they can't protest without getting shot. And then there was the whole, Israel planning on destroying the Alexa Mosque to build their 3rd temple. So there was a religious and political reason why Hamas attacked. Not saying that is right. Not saying that's right. Just give me the reason.
October 7th. Okay. So Get your notebooks
Go
ready.
out there and kill people.
Sit back and enjoy. I'm going to explain this to you guys. So, when Hamas invaded Israel, for a multitude of different geopolitical and religious reasons, which I went into great detail before, Israel responded heavily handed. They began an invasion into Gaza, which is one of the most densely populated places in the world. We're talking 2.2, 2.3 million people. Okay, this little strip here.
Probably 2.1 now.
They first led with 1 million airstrikes, followed by a ground assault. During the course of this ground assault and airstrikes, they were able to pretty much destabilize and destroy the majority of the Hamas infrastructure. Despite the fact that Hamas hides in tunnels and has exercised quite a bit of guerrilla warfare, Israel has been fairly successful in dismantling, disrupting, and for the most part, destroying Hamas. Okay? They're kind of on their last leg now.
I mean,
There
yeah.
still are some resistance fighters left. But for the most part,
I mean, resistance fighters for sure, but leadership has been completely decimated. I mean, done. I mean, bro, for Hamas to keep going, they literally have to do a whole new, like, a whole new role of leadership. And I mean, nobody wants to be leader of Hamas because every leader of Hamas gets killed. I mean, bro, as soon as they're a leader, boom, bomb, done. So yeah, not too much people want to take up the mantle or to take the torch of leadership in Hamas. Why? Because you get an instant death. I mean, bro, as soon as you accept leadership, a bomb falls down and you're done.
and Yahya Sinwar, these guys right here.
Oh, he's showing the face.
This dude and this dude. Okay. The two main leaders of Hamas, he was the head of the military wing, he was the head of the political wing, were assassinated by Israel. He was killed in Iran via...
Yeah, I mean, bro, July 31st, 2024. So, yeah, pretty recently. What about Yahya Sinwar? I think
main leaders of Hamas.
He's in jail.
He was the head of the military wing. He was the head of the political wing.
Hold on, bro. I know this man. Never mind. He was killed in a clash with the IDF in October 2024. So they killed both the political wing leadership and the military wing leadership, well, within months of each other. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Look, the Mossad and the IDF, bro, when it comes to striking these guys, bro, their tactics are pretty impressive. I'll be real. Gruesome, but impressive.
Main leaders of Hamas. He was the head of the military wing. He was the head of the political wing. Were assassinated by Israel. He was killed in Iran via Mossad, an intelligence operation in country. He was killed in October of last year, actually on accident in Rafah, if I'm not mistaken. Right? So the leadership is gone. Oh, and they also killed this guy too. Another notable figure for Hamas. Abu Ubaidah. Okay.
Damn, they killed him. Whoa. Yeah, they killed him on August 2025. Damn. Yeah, it was last year they took him out.
Abu Ubaidah. Okay. He's the guy that famously would do all the speeches with the fia in his on his face.
Oh, that guy.
Okay. So here he is. So they killed military wing guy, the diplomat guy for the political wing, and they killed the spokesperson. Okay. They also killed a bunch of other high-ranking guys, but for the purpose of conversation, once again, we're keeping it simple. So Hamas has pretty much been destroyed. Okay. There's still some remnants, but for the most part, they've been destroyed. There's currently a ceasefire in place, which Israel has been violating, but that's neither here nor there. This is one of the proxies, okay? Hamas is backed and supported by Iran, okay? So they were disrupted. Then, after Israel led their successful campaign in Gaza, they began the process of invading Lebanon, okay?
Yep.
And the reason why they began invading Lebanon on the ground was because Hezbollah, this organization right here, okay, who is also another proxy funded by Iran. Okay, it's a militant group out of Lebanon. They were shooting rockets into Israel, northern Israel. This entire area of northern Israel, we'll call it the Haifa greater metropolitan area, for lack of a better term, so I can kind of Americanize this for you guys, because this is a very important big port city. This whole area had roughly 60,000 Israelis that had to be evacuated. Okay? This whole area here. Because Hezbollah was shooting rockets into northern Israel. Why were they doing this? They were doing this to weaken the IDF's presence in Gaza. They knew that if they were bombing northern Israel, Israel would have to mobilize the IDF and other military and intelligence assets into northern Israel to deal with the rockets coming in, right? For security purposes. And one of the things that you can do in warfare like this, where you're outmatched, right? Because the IDF is a very competent and powerful military, because they have U.S. technology and U.S. support.
Facts.
Is you can make them fight on two different fronts. Okay? So while the IDF was launching a huge ground invasion and a large-scale airstrike operation, there were also...
two inferior military forces pretty much got to play the distraction game. That's just how it is. I mean, Hezbollah and Hamas obviously is inferior to the IDF. I mean, bro, I'm be real with you. Hamas, you can barely call a militant force.
Assets in the north. And once they killed once they killed Yahya Sinwar, this guy, okay, in October of 2024, right around that time, this is when they began the ground assault into Lebanon, okay? And when they conducted the ground assault into Lebanon, multiple things happened, okay? First, there was a successful pager attack, okay? Okay? And this pager attack killed, maimed, and took out a lot of Hezbollah members. And the Israelis, basically, long story short, had infiltrated Hezbollah's supply chain with communication devices. They were able to get like a contract with them. They built these devices, put bombs in them, because Hezbollah was looking for older technology that couldn't be intercepted, walkie-talkies, beepers, etc. Right? And they simultaneously exploded these devices on September 17th and September 18th. Okay? Now, while this was going on, they also launched a ground assault into Lebanon. So they did the pager attack, they invaded on the ground, and the final touch, they started conducting massive airstrikes. Okay? And they killed this guy right here, the head of Hezbollah. Okay? So, recap. October 7th.
Yeah, like you kind of see where Myron's going with this, bro. They took out all of their top adversaries in like 2 years. 2 years, from 2024 to 2025, they've taken out the top leadership in Hezbollah and Hamas, completely crippling them both.
What happens? Hamas invades Israel. These guys right here. I'm going to bring this all together for you guys here soon. This is Hamas. Okay? They invaded Israel. After invading Israel, Israel launched a massive ground and air assault on the Gaza Strip, killing tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands when this is all said and done. This totally crippled and dismantled and disrupted Hamas operations. Their top two guys, or their top three guys, Abu Ubaidah, Yahya Sinwar, and Ismail Haniyeh were killed, effectively leaving them rudderless and headless. Then they began the campaign into Lebanon. They invaded southern Lebanon, were fighting with them on the ground, launched the pager attack and also launched airstrikes in Beirut. These airstrikes hit
All
their
right, guys, we do got to take a quick little detour real quick because breaking shocking arrest of former Prince Andrew. So yes, former Prince Andrew has been arrested for, well, most likely his connection to the Epstein files. Let's hear it out.
And get to some breaking news that is happening as we speak in the United Kingdom, where it is on its way towards lunchtime on a Thursday. The reports are that Prince Andrew, the former Prince Andrew, has been arrested. Now, the suggestion is that police have arrived at the former prince's home. Now, this information is very fresh to us right now. It is the BBC who is making this reporting as we speak, but Andrew, Mountbatten Windsor, as he is to be known now, of course, the former Prince Andrew, all of the questions that have surrounded his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, all of the questions that have extended into potential domestic consequences that may be for him in the United Kingdom. Now, we will learn over the next hour exactly what has taken place, but 8 officers have arrived at his home in the past few minutes. They've arrived in 6 separate Metropolitan Police vehicles. Now, one of the accusations that was being levelled at the former Prince Andrew is that when he was the trade envoy, and he was for the best part of more than 10 years, he was representing the UK government. Now, obviously, he was above party politics as to whether that was a Conservative government or a Labor government. But amazingly here, that question of misconduct in public office is what this all connects back to, because some of the suggestions have been that information that he may well have learnt in the privileged position of being the trade envoy, he may well have spoken about that information outside of the areas that he was supposed to be doing so, potentially even with Jeffrey Epstein. But again, we will see all of this play out in the next little while. This is a potential jailable offence. Now, we know
it's not even for anything like, child pedophilia or anything. It's pretty much like, well, you were operating as an envoy for the UK. Well, I guess outside of jurisdiction, or you were doing it illegally and all this crazy stuff. It kind of looks like he's getting hung up on, well, business dealings or, well, dealings with that he would be, or that he'd be representing the UK in. Seems like that's what they're catching him up on. But let me make sure, though,
that the former Prince Andrew has said of any and all allegations that have been made about him in the past in relation to his proximity and allegations in and around Jeffrey Epstein, that he has claimed to be innocent. Well, this is, again, a very different take on things, and one that does not require what the United States authorities have been able to find out. It is not related.
Oh, pretty much, yeah. Prince Andrew, formerly Prince Andrew, was arrested on February 19th, which is today, 2026, on suspicion of misconduct in public office. The arrest is connected to an investigation into his past ties with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, specific allegations regarding the sharing of confidential trade info and trafficking accusations. So, oh shit. So yeah, he might have helped Jeffrey Epstein get up on the stock market with confidential trade info, aka inside trading, which he should know better. And then, of course, some trafficking accusations that they might be able to connect him on. Well, at least somebody's being held accountable. Now, only if America can practice this. Like, please, like we got some Prince Andrews here that's still walking around. Except they ain't royals, but they rich.
To the investigations that have happened in the Parliament in the United States, which, of course, has been very active. But, of course, he's not an American citizen, so he hasn't been able to be compelled to learn more about this. Now, at this stage, the police arriving, and again, the report from the BBC is the term arrested. Now, arrested simply obviously means in the earliest of moments here that this is somebody being engaged with by the police. Now, whether the questioning is taking place at his home right now, we assume that to be the case. Now, remember, of course, he was formerly in that cottage. He then was moved to the Sandringham estate, which is still owned by the royal family, but the expectation was that either the king himself or some arrangement had been made for him to be moved to that different, smaller and much more secluded property than the one that we have seen in the past, one that he has shared on and off at times with his former wife, Sarah Ferguson. This is the location of what is taking place right now. I've got a feeling we're going to be dipping in and out of this a lot in the next little while. So if we're mid-conversation with anything we have planned this evening, we return to this and return to it instantly. But the images that are coming through is the police arriving, and then we understand
upon the trade envoy. So he was trade envoy for the UK, and he's pretty much getting arrested on, well, allegations of sharing confidential trade information and trafficking allegations. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But let's see, suspect offense, misconduct in public office, linked to his previous role as UK trade envoy. So, yeah, misconduct while holding public office.
Inside the home.
I mean, God damn it, bro. We can, you know how much politicians we could catch up on that today? Man. On the left and the right, bro. On the left and the right.
Him to be arrested. That is the beginning of the process of, at the very least, questioning him or forcing him into a scenario of being questioned, all going back to his time as the trade envoy for the United Kingdom, when he would represent the United Kingdom government, again, regardless of politics, the royal family being above politics of the day. Him being able to move in the upper echelons of multiple societies, perhaps armed with information that may well have been of use to others. And in the extreme case, and there is no evidence to this point, so I am simply speaking to the possibility of what could be the basis here, is whether the information that he used, he was able to in any way, shape or form use to improve his personal or somebody else's circumstances. The breaking news tonight is that the former Prince Andrew is currently talking with police at his home on the fringes of Sandringham Estate. There will be much more that comes to air in the next hour. The second we know more, you will.
I'm real with you.
Guilty. That nigga is guilty.
He's guilty. I'll do it again.
Guilty. That nigga is guilty.
Take his ass to jail. He's cooked. Like, I'm sorry. I ain't want to hear from him. I've already seen enough.
Your ass going to jail. You jail. Lock his ass up. Lock his ass up. You going to jail. You going to jail. Your ass going to jail. You jail. Lock his
target and killed this guy, Hassan Nasrallah. They also assassinated a bunch of other Hezbollah high-ranking members. But I'll keep it simple for you guys and just let you know. They dismantled Hamas, then they went after Hezbollah. After the assassination of Hassan Nasrallah, this directly led to the fall of the Assad regime. Okay? Now, what the fuck is the Assad regime? This guy right here. Okay? The Assads had run Syria for several decades. Now, the reason why I'm showing you guys this on a map is that this is important for you guys to understand from a geographic perspective why this is important. So Hamas gets disrupted here, proxy 1. Hezbollah gets disrupted and dismantled here, proxy 2. Now we're on to proxy 3, the Bashar al-Assad regime. After the ceasefire that was brokered between Hezbollah and Israel, this kicked off a rebellion in Syria. Syria, having already been weakened for a decade plus, with sectarian wars all over the fucking country, all right, had amassed a bunch of different groups and paramilitia groups that fought against the Syrian army. The problem here is that Syria was holding on to power thanks to Hezbollah and the Russians. The Russians came in with their air power, and Hezbollah came in with their fighting force. The Syrian military is extremely incompetent, unpaid, and angry. This is why Syria fell so quickly. Since a lot of these military officials in Syria were not getting paid by the government, right, and had and were an inferior military, a lot of them gave up. And the Russians could not supply the air power to Bashar al-Assad because they had their hands full with Ukraine. Now, what ended up happening was after the ceasefire was brokered between Hezbollah and Israel out of Lebanon, this led to the rise of Ahmed al-Shara, a former member of Al-Qaeda, a.k.a. al-Jolani. This guy led HTS, okay, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, okay? And what he basically did is he began a campaign out of the Idlib province, or the Idlib area of Syria, and he took his people and he went into Aleppo, took that over in a day, and then worked his way back down and took Hama, Homs, and then eventually got himself to Damascus. Damascus is where the palace is. Bashar al-Assad, realizing that his country was falling before his very own eyes, fled. So by the time that Ahmed al-Shara got to Damascus, Bashar al-Assad was already on a plane headed for Moscow. And Syria fell within a couple of days. And the only reason why it fell was because the Israelis are smart. They destroyed Hamas, began a campaign into Lebanon, disrupted and dismantled Hezbollah, though they did not destroy them, but they significantly incapacitated them. With Hezbollah weakened, they were not able to come in and assist Bashar al-Assad on the ground, and the Russians were unable to provide air power. This forced Bashar al-Assad to leave, and Ahmed al-Shara took power. Ahmed al-Shara, some people say, is a CIA asset. He was former Al-Qaeda. They took the bounty off his head. Look, that's neither here nor there. The bottom line that you need to know is that Ahmed al-Shara is friendly to the West. He got sanctions removed from the United States that had been in place for a very long time. He is friendly with Israel, cordial, I would say. Okay. And what he did in exchange for the United States removing the sanctions was he basically kicked out Hezbollah, and he also kicked out the IRGC. Now, what is the IRGC? The IRGC is the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, okay? This is a component or an arm of the Iranian military. Now, the IRGC had a large presence in Syria, okay? And the reason why is because Syria is in a pivotal geographic location to be able to support and help equip Hezbollah, who is the most competent on-ground fighting force that the axis of resistance has. So when Ahmed al-Shara came into power, one of the first things that he did was he kicked the IRGC out of Syria, and he did not allow them to resupply, replenish, and assist Hezbollah in their wounded state. And in exchange, the United States agreed to lift the sanctions from Syria. Also, when Ahmed al-Shara took power, which a lot of people don't talk about, but I will add this in because this is pertinent, the Israelis bombed all of the military infrastructure of Syria. So despite the fact that Israel kind of ushered this leader into power, the Israelis also don't trust this guy. So they destroyed their military infrastructure for extra security. Because as you guys are starting to see, there's a trend here where Israel doesn't like Muslims and Arabs having weapons that can hurt them. Okay? And they use the concept of national security to justify their bombings. Okay? Now, why am I telling you all of this? I am telling you guys all of this because this adds to the urgency from which Benjamin Netanyahu is coming to the United States, or is in the United States for that matter. Now, let's quickly recap. October 7th, Hamas, these motherfuckers right here, these guys right here, invade Israel.
Oh, yeah. This is what I was pretty much saying about the whole Syria situation. It was kind of effed up because it's like, all right, so you get the regime change you want. Then you go in there and make sure that, like, don't even give them a way to defend themselves from any enemies, even if it's not Israel. Then y'all say, oh, no, we're cool with Syria now that they got a new leader. But then you decimate their weapons defense system and their air force. Like, destroy all their planes. Like, come on now. That's a bit wild. And I ain't gonna lie, that kind of led me to believe this is what Israel truly wants. That they don't want no Arab country to be able to defend themselves from Israel. Like, no Arab country has the right to defend themselves from Israel.
Okay? AKA Operation Al-Aqsa Flood. They invade Israel. This leads to the siege of the Gaza Strip, the invasion of the Gaza Strip, the airstrikes all across the Gaza Strip, coupled with a ground assault. During the course of their campaign in Gaza, they killed Yahya Sinwar, they assassinated Ismail Haniyeh in Iran, and they also killed Abu Ubaidah. Okay? These are some large figureheads within the organization. They also killed many other members, but for the purpose of this conversation, we're going to keep it simple. After they conducted and completed their campaign in Gaza, they then went into Lebanon to the north to deal with these guys who were shooting rockets into Israel that had to get 60,000 people evacuated. They led a ground assault. The goal was to get to Beirut. They were not able to do that because Hezbollah is actually very competent ground fighters. They kept the Israelis at bay in southern Lebanon, but the Israelis were still successful because they were able to conduct the pager attack, which rattled and caused quite a bit of disruption, and they killed two large figureheads of Hezbollah. This guy Hassan Nasrallah, and just for added information, this guy right here, Fuad Shukr. Okay. They killed him too. This led to pandemonium,
Like I said, bro, it was a complete crackdown on Hezbollah, Hamas, all of Syria. I mean, all of them. Within those 2 years of 2024 to 2025, they got all of them. That's impressive. Like, that's impressive. Much as I don't agree with how Israel moves in the Middle East, it is impressive.
Corruption and damn near the dismantlement of Hezbollah. Okay? Now, as soon as they successfully assassinated Hassan Nasrallah, even though they had a failed land coup or a failed land attempt, they still weakened and disrupted Hezbollah enough where they agreed to a ceasefire. This ceasefire directly led to the fall of the Assad regime, because with Hezbollah weakened and your boy Ahmed al-Shara leading a campaign all across Syria, killing people all over the place in the Syrian military, or getting them to simply just comply and give up, he comes into power within days. Once he seizes power, he kicks the IRGC out. Okay? And he decides to not arm or rearm Hezbollah and not use Syria for what it was before, which was a transit country to move supplies and resources from Tehran to Beirut to support Hezbollah, because Syria was in the way. So Ahmed al-Shara came into power and cut the supply lines in exchange for Western acceptance and sanction relief. So he is playing ball with the Israelis and the West. Okay? Now, this is 1, Hamas, 2, Hezbollah, 3, Bashar al-Assad regime. These three are what's called proxies from the axis of resistance that Iran has been funding for many years to insulate themselves against U.S. and Israeli aggression. They did this after seeing the Middle East fall to U.S. foreign policy that's run by Jewish Zionists. There's one last member of the axis of resistance, actually two other members. You have the Houthis down here,
Yep.
who were also weakened by the Israelis because they killed government members. The U.S. was relentlessly striking them, and they're still intact to a degree. Okay, and you also have militia groups within Iraq that also are backed by Iran, but they are not as powerful as Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis, and the Bashar al-Assad regime. So all of the proxies have pretty much been disrupted, dismantled, and need to replenish. Okay? And Israel was behind all of these proxies going down to some degree, whether they overtly did it themselves or they funded militia groups like Ahmed al-Shara to do it. Israel was behind every single component of these proxies being destroyed. Now, this leads me to why Netanyahu is here. There are a couple of things that the Israelis want, okay? There are three main things. Number one, no nuclear program, okay? They don't even want civilian level damn near. Number two, they want their ballistic missile program pretty much dismantled, okay? 300 kilometers or something like that, where the missiles can't actually be a threat to Israel. Number three, they want the Iranians to stop funding and supporting the proxies that Israel just destroyed, that I just identified for you guys in that long explanation. That's why I had to explain everything so you guys understand the complexity of the proxies and why the Israelis want Iran to stop funding them. And also, time is not on the Israeli side.
Yeah. Let me be real with you. Ever since this whole push for war with Iran, you could tell the propaganda is just so obvious. It's like, what? Oh, the hatred of Islam, then the hatred of Arabs. I mean, you could tell it's manufactured at this point because it's all pushed towards hating Muslims. So it's okay now to go to war with Muslim countries, and you guys won't think twice about it because it's F those Muslims. I mean, they're using your hatred of Muslims to push us into war. And it's kind of funny how people don't see that, but I mean, hey, man, not everybody's going to catch that, especially when it feeds into, well, I'm be real with you. Some people just, I mean, like being hateful people. It is what it is. And I mean, anything to validate it. I mean, shoot, even if it means hating a group of people, that ain't never really do anything to them at all.
Every day that passes, Hezbollah is rebuilding. Every day that passes, Hamas is rebuilding. Every day that passes,
I don't know about that.
The Houthis are rebuilding. Every day that passes, the Iraqis are becoming more emboldened to resist. And then every day that passes, the Iranians are making more missiles. Okay? While simultaneously, the interceptor missiles that the Israelis rely on.
It's kind of funny though, like the same people who hate Islam, if you ask them, all right, well, how does the Quran start? They can't tell you. They couldn't tell you how it ended either, but they can go ahead and take a passage out of context like atheists do to the Bible. And the same people who do that to the Quran will get mad when people do that to the Bible. It's hilarious, to be quite honest with you. It is, bro. The cognitive dissonance, sometimes it's just too funny. What can I say?
Are not being produced at the same level. Okay? It's a bit more complex than that, but for the purpose of simplicity, the Iranians are manufacturing more weapons than the Israelis can manufacture defense to said weapons. So this creates an economic and strategic issue of security with the Israelis. Okay? Now, that's what the Israelis want. The United States understands that the Iranians have pretty much put a red line, and they said, we are only going to talk nuclear. We are not going to talk about the proxies that Israel destroyed. We are going to continue to support them and rebuild them. And we are not going to talk about our ballistic missile program because our ballistic missile program is the only reason why we have these negotiations in the first place. Now, for you guys to understand the ballistic missile program and why Donald Trump and the Israelis are far more cautious with attacking Iran this time around, we must understand what happened during the 12-day war. So I gave you guys the lore on what happened after October 7th. And after October 7th happened, you fast forward to June of 2025. The proxies have been disrupted and dismantled. Iran is in a weakened state. The Israelis launched Operation Rising Lion, also known as the Israel-Iran War. During the course of this 12-day war, capabilities were exposed. The Israelis showed their hand and had a bunch of intelligence operatives come out from hiding, use drones to destroy air defense from within the country. And as this was happening, the Israelis intelligently and, marvelously utilized their air power to follow.
I mean, bro, I'm be honest with you. You're not making any sense, to be real with you, because I asked you, how does the Quran end and how does it begin? You can't answer that question. Instead, you say, well, if you don't go along with this scholars, when there's multiple scholars in Islam, all of them wrote in books on how to describe the Quran. I mean, this is why it's mainly practice. You read it yourself to gain your own understanding, because you can go pick up a book from multiple scholars on the Bible and you'll get a different meaning for almost every passage that Jesus say. Same thing with the Quran. I mean, the fact that you don't know that is, I mean, come on, bro. I know you're smarter than this. Like, come on now. Like, I know it's a book from a scholar on Islam, but bro, there's a lot of books from a lot of scholars that say different things. Just like there's a lot of books from scholars on the Bible. Then they say different things with different interpretations. Shoot, your priest got a different interpretation of the Bible than your priest down the street. Same thing in Islam. That's why y'all kind of sound dumb making these arguments, because you don't even see how it relates to your own religion, or how your religion share similarities. But like I said, how does the Quran begin and how does it end? And if y'all can't answer that, then y'all need to shut up about Islam, because you're not being honest. Because I asked you that question and said, well, if you don't translate it right, bro, what's so hard to translate that the Quran said that Jesus is going to come back and save the world and stop the devil? What's there to translate about that? It's pure, it's cutthroat. It's right there. You don't need a scholar to translate that, bro. I don't need a scholar to sit there, crack open the Quran and realize that it starts off like Genesis. I don't need a scholar to sit there and explain that to me, bro. If you do, then you're kind of slow then. Like, you really need a scholar to sit there and be like, oh, I need an interpreter in the beginning. You need an interpreter for that.
On these assets, destroying this air defense, and bomb the fuck out of Iran. And the Iranians could not do anything about it. The Israelis enjoyed air superiority. That's, I think, irrefutable now at this point. Okay, facts are facts. They bombed several strategic locations, military locations, nuclear facilities. They killed several nuclear scientists and generals of the Iranian military or armed forces. And they had Iran basically blind.
Well, here's the thing, though. I'm not telling you guys to support terrorism. Like, no. Trust me. Muslims don't support terrorism. The problem is, though, is that y'all two have, well, kind of put the two together. You're like, a Muslim is a terrorist, and a terrorist is a Muslim in y'all eyes, and that is incorrect. That's just the wrong way to look at things, and that's just straight. You've been propagandized to think that way. I mean, shout out Laura Loomer, man. Hey, man, she puts out good work.
And
I ain't mad at
disoriented for roughly 24 hours. But after that was done, and the Iranians were able to regain their composure after getting the worst attack on them, probably in their history or modern history, we saw all hell break loose. Boom, boom, boom. Right? Okay.
All right, that's too much.
All jokes aside, when the Iranians retaliated, though the Israelis were successful in successfully removing much of the of shooting down much of the missiles and drones that came through, a lot of them actually landed.